Oh, let me tell you something. Busting makes me feel good.
Hi, everybody. Welcome to Blockbusting, the podcast where we love to hate the movies. I'm your host, Jay Light. Joining me today, the wonderful Katrina Davis.
Hello. Thank you for having me, Jay.
I'm so happy to have you.
This is going to be so awesome.
This is going to be super awesome. Yeah, we talked about doing a show, and you originally... what did you originally Almost Famous? It was like Almost Famous or Barbarella.
Yes.
And I was like, Almost Famous might be the more controversial pick. So
right.
Let's do that. And then you hit me back the next hour, I think. And you're like, I'm sorry, I got to do Barbarella. This movie's too insane.
It is. And it's like somebody needs to be talking about Barbarella in this context, because I feel like I've seen a couple things on it and it's a bunch of people trying to pretend that it's a think piece, and I'm enraged. So like we need to talk about this.
This movie is very I told you I have one note that I wrote down when I was watching this. And my one note is the whole premise of this movie just that Jane Fonda is hot and in space?
It's off a comic strip, but I don't like, and I read a couple places like based off a comic strip, and I don't know if they mean literally one strip, because this is the most one-dimensional person I've ever seen a whole story based around. Like,
it's so bad.
It's like you're watching her become sentient, but they never address it. Like if in the beginning they somehow made her AI and you were like, oh, she's not human and learning, it would be so much more watchable. Mm-hmm. But they just try to make her an earthling that's like, should have like adult supervision. She's so slow at times.
Yeah. This is a movie. I mean, for those of you who have never heard of or seen Barbarella, it's a 1968 science fiction film directed by Roger Vadim, starring Jane Fonda as a space traveler and representative of the United Earth government sent to find scientist Duran Duran, where the 80s band got their name from.
Is that really where they got it?
That's really where they got it.
Oh my gosh.
Yeah. Who created a weapon that could destroy humanity. And also she has a bunch of sex though along the way.
And like I have notes about that also. But like those are basically like how you know an act is done if she like has sex with a new person.
Yeah, she has sex with like 5 different people in this. I lost count. I could not pay attention to this movie.
Everyone she runs into that's mildly fuckable, she does indeed have sex with, which is fine if like I feel like they try to get you on board. It makes me angry because I feel like it is because he was her husband at the time, right? The director,
right? Yeah.
Right. So first off, opening scene, I wrote down that like you just watch her undress for 5 minutes. Mm-hmm. It's the longest scene of her just like floating around, getting naked.
Zero-G striptease.
Yes, but she had to get like blackout drunk to do that because she was so nervous. And
Really?
Then they like lost all of the tape. So she was like hung over and then had to get drunk again to feel comfortable enough to be like butt naked on plexiglass. And then plot-wise, I'm annoyed because you watch her get naked in space for 5 minutes and then she immediately hits gravity. And it's like, why would you choose to get naked? That seems more difficult. Like if you could choose to take your pants off with gravity helping you, would you not do that? I was just annoyed at the logic of that immediately.
It doesn't make any sense. And then she has, as soon as she's done getting undressed and getting naked, she gets a phone call.
Yeah. Creeps out the gate because she's like, let me get dressed. And he's like, no time.
There's no time for it.
Also, you learn later, it takes her like 40, maybe a full 5 seconds to get dressed. So it's like there was no time for that. I hate this guy.
It's the future. She walks off screen, she spins around like Wonder Woman and changes her outfit.
Right, but he was like, there's no time for that. Mm-hmm. You creep. I hate you.
The plot of this movie is paper thin. The characters are even thinner. And it's impossible to pay attention to. For me, at least. Like, it's hard to look at a movie and see that they've made this choice to do style over substance, but also that style is not interesting. It's so like the level of talent that they squander in this film. Is that what you're trying to say? Because like they do things that should technically be cool, but it's like, what are we even doing with this? Right. Like if it was one of those things where like the script, I think that the biggest problem I had was with the actual dialogue. Can I just say that the one thing that made me even want to pick this movie is later on when she hears a bunch of people yelling. Hold on. I legit wrote it down because it's the dumbest thing I've ever heard someone say in a movie. Oh my God. Oh, hold on. There's a lot of dumb stuff that gets said. It's one where she's like, a lot of, like she says like, oh, that's a noise. That normally indicates that trouble is about to happen. Like she legit just says like an exposition that's like, there's a loud noise. That normally happens before something bad. And then she just walks away and it's like, what? Well, why is that a line? This is the problem that happens with, so the story is about the script is it was written originally by this guy, Terry Southern, who is an Academy Award nominee. I think he won for Doctor Strangelove, but he worked with Peter Sellers and a lot of stuff. He's a very well-regarded screenwriter, and they need him to do this sci-fi comedy. And so he meets with Roger Vadim, he meets with Jane Fonda, and he's like, yeah, this is going to be a ton of fun. I'm going to have a great time. And then he saw the movie, and he didn't realize that they'd added like 20 other writers to write the script. And all of them were all just like random Italian people for the most part. And they're like just his buds, like Roger's friends. I guess. And the thing is, it's like so when you have a script that is an English script that is written by people who I would say it's safe to assume English is not their first language. It comes off so just like, I mean, that quote you put forward that makes more sense. That makes more sense now that they would just straight up put an exposition like that. Yeah. Well, it's like, have you ever seen Troll 2? No. Okay. So this movie reminded me to some degree of Troll 2. The way that movie pans out is it's a movie, it's really bad. It's one of those like very good bad movies. And just it's so fucking bonkers and insane that I have no problem with how bad it is. Yes, got it. But there's a documentary that I saw about it called Best Worst Movie. And it's made by there's a kid who's the star of the movie. And he tells basically like, this is why this movie's as bad as it is. Because it was directed by an Italian man and written by that guy's wife, and neither of them spoke English as their first language. The wife didn't speak English at all, but they wrote an English language script that was poorly translated, and none of the lines made sense. And anytime anybody who actually did speak English was like, hey, I want to, this line doesn't, like, this makes no sense. Like, there's the lines where they're saying, like, you can't piss on hospitality. I won't allow it. And it's like, nobody says that kind of stuff. Right. And the director's like, not a saying. No. And, this is what we do. And they refuse to diverge from the script. Yeah. And I think that maybe happened a little bit here, but I don't even, I have a more pressing question, which is, how did you come to watch this movie in the first place? Like, where you don't strike me as somebody who's like a sci-fi or like I do old. I don't know. I will watch old stuff. Like I'm kind of all over the place in terms of
I think it's also just that I live by myself. So I have
so you're just really digging through the bottom of the barrel now.
No, I just don't have context for what's weird. So I'll hear someone reference something on like a old like Hollywood podcast, and they'd be like, "Oh, I'm gonna go watch that," and be like, "They casually mentioned this insane movie, like it's not insane." Like even the beginning, like the part, like Jane Fonda talks about this for like half a second in her documentary that I watched on a plane, and she doesn't at all talk about how they like trying to force her through those rubber tubes that they're like using to travel.
Oh yeah.
So like at one point they couldn't get the air compression right. So she got stuck in it, and like how you would go down like a dry slide in the summer, like it just skinned the shit out of her body trying to push her through this tube. So then they put talcum powder in it, but then it was too slick and she went flying out the other side. Like there's so many hilariously horrible things about this movie that you would like. She talked about it for a second. I watched it and was like, what the H is this? And then like learned more about it.
Tell me more crazy shit that happened on set.
Oh my gosh, hold on, because I'm trying to think of what the other thing was. The other thing I have right now is just my other favorite line is to crucify the angel or I'll melt your face. Like how
yeah, there's an angel in this movie.
There's a blind angel. There's fact.
A blind angel named Pygar, who is the second person who Jane Fonda has sex with in his nest.
Oh yeah, she fucks in a nest.
She fucks in a nest, and the sex is so good that he goes unblind. He gains his sight back.
No, he's still blind.
I thought he gained. Oh no, he gains his power to fly back. That's what it is. You're right.
She makes because that's the thing is that he that's another thing. The old guy that's like the soothsayer that is like the old man
Professor
that's helping him in the land.
Ping.
Yeah, that's freaking.
That's Marceau.
Yes. What? What is he doing in here?
The most famous mime maybe ever is in this movie, not being a mime. I don't understand why he's in this movie.
That's what my question was. Why is he in this movie? But no, so like that guy tells her like he just thinks he can't fly, basically. Like his issue with his wings is mental. And so she like fucks enough confidence into him that he can fly. It's like what's happening in the movie.
And by the way, we haven't even mentioned yet. So in this like reality of this sci-fi version, humans don't have sex. They take a pill and then like put each other's hands next to each other. Yes, which reminds me of Demolition Man. Like this thing that like we become so evolved that we think sex is gross. But like, I'm so bad. Are we supposed to say more about like, okay, so she's like sent it's
to
fine.
this.
Say whatever you like.
Yeah, she's like sent to this planet. The inside of her spaceship is completely shag.
Great. Yeah, it's like a Yo Gabba Gabba set inside her.
There's so many, even you talking about the things that are visually great, it's like there are multiple times where you watch a now obviously small spaceship explode into a mini mountain, but they only show that ice skating stingray one time. That was the most ridiculous thing I've ever seen in my life. Like, is it more ridiculous than the baby dolls that they reconfigured to make them so they have metal teeth? That is the other thing. Everything that tries to kill her just tries to kill her through nudity. Yes. Like there's so many weird. It's trying to eat her clothes off. Yes, everything eats her clothes off. She also gets attacked by birds, which I'm so glad you said that because that was the other thing. This guy, like, I don't know if he's insane. Like, I need to learn more about this man also. This is how I go into these, like, wormholes. Then I'll learn way too much about her husband. But, like, so they decided they wanted to do the whole bird thing. It wasn't working. They're shooting all of these birds through like compressed air tunnels at her for the scene because she's killed. They try to kill her through razor baby doll teeth. Then later they try to kill her via birds. Right. That I guess are hungry. They're just hungry birds. So, and they were originally supposed to be hummingbirds, but it's illegal to ship hummingbirds overseas. Yes. So they like fill her costume with bird seed. are shooting the birds through these air compressors, thinking that they'll just like land on the other side starving. But they're just terrified that they were just flown through an air vent. So they just like shat all over her. And then she got like such a horrible flu from trying to shoot this for 2 weeks that she was hospitalized. Like,
yeah.
Oh my God.
Oh my God. I mean, this movie is...
And you just watch like all of her almost dying scenes of her just going, like it's almost like her being sexy takes all precedent even over the plot. So it's like she's not allowed to actually be hurt or show pain. So everything that tries to kill her is like small, and she just becomes kind of naked and it's like
she's like
like delicately like badly fake coming in every almost murder scene, except for when she directs the angel to shoot the leather knights, which I do kind of like.
That was probably my favorite part of the soundtrack. I really dug, and then anytime you saw the exploding knights. And there's no reason for that. Like, there's clearly nothing coming out of the gun, not even a laser or something.
I'm so glad you said that, because I was like, I'm not going to lie. I really like watching these Leathermen explode.
It's very Power Rangers.
Yes, it is very powerful. Like, there's so much about the costumes. Even the weird people have the weird people that they banish everything that's good to this underground.
To the maze.
There's technically cool shit going on, and they just breeze by it. And it's like, wait, let's go back to that thing. Like, they banish everything that's good to this like land of the sad mazes where they have to live off of orchids because they have such low nutrients. I guess they're like feeding them like, here, peons, you can have orchids, and like barely stay alive. But then everyone that is evil is like, yes, sex Thunderdome. And they're like smoking a man out of a hookah at one point.
Oh, yeah. Essence of man. And she's on the run from, she just had sex for the third time. And it was the hand type sex. And her hair gets curly.
Yes, I love it. Boing. I do like her having sex with that guy because he's like obviously the revolution nerd. It's like, okay, this guy kind of deserves to get fucked. But he does. She
leaves him hanging. She blue balls him for a minute.
Well, that is so funny that she doesn't even realize he's done. She's like, oh, sorry, he has to finish. But it's like, he wants to do it the hand way. And she's like, no, I like fucking raw now. Like,
I'm the real deal.
You got my
pills?
Goodness.
Why are we doing it with the pills?
Yes, she's like, boo, pills. I want to feel dick now.
Yeah, so she runs away, and she's trying to hide from the guards, the Leather Knights, and she sits around and gets drawn into these girls who are like smoking a hookah with a dude who's basically drowning inside this giant.
Yes, and I can't tell if how upset he is by this. I kept trying to
he has to have consented to it, right?
To get in the tube, but this is all, I mean, I couldn't tell because he at one point looks down like, you're not going to smoke me too, are you? Like, he looks like it matters to him, but I can't tell if they're killing him. Like, I don't know what that is, but I love that that's just like never addressed again. They try to kill her with a sex organ.
A literal, not a penis, a literal organ that Duran plays.
It is a comically like bom, bam, bom, bam, like this weird wavy maniacal machine that it's like if an organ and a waterbed had a baby, like a pipe organ and a waterbed put together.
Undulating.
Yes. I want to watch this again and trip. Like, that's what I want to do. But yeah, so he's trying to, this is another scene that made this movie stick out in my brain for your podcast forever, because there were so many things happening where I was enraged on multiple levels, where even at the time it was like she had to have been rolling her eyes at this, where he puts her in this machine that basically kills you with pleasure.
Yeah, you're going to come until you die.
Yes. And like her clothes are also like coming out of this tube, like the organ is somehow undressing her, which is weird.
Mm-hmm.
And then she overloads the machine. It smokes and burned. Another time she thought she was going to die because the guy who's playing Duran Duran didn't know all that was going to happen. And everyone else was like, keep going. And he was like, no, we have to get her out of here. Like everyone was very concerned during this scene. And it looks like they should have been. Like stuff is definitely catching fire and melting. And so she destroys this machine and he's like, have you no shame? Like, you wretched girl, like it's her fault that she outfucked the machine?
Right.
What? Oh man, I was getting so mad.
So he runs away and she gets sent to this weird bubble.
The dream bubble the sexy unicorn lady sleeps that decided not to murder her earlier because she wants to fuck. Mm-hmm. I do like that they made her bisexual. That was it's
very progressive for a movie that came out in the 60s.
Even though she's evil, like they made the evil person bisexual, but she's still a woman. I get it. I don't know. There's so many things I hate about this movie. It's weird.
This movie's really, I mean, I wanted to like this movie more than I did.
Like dumb, and I like the way things look, and then they say stuff that's insane.
But it's just like I was watching it and it's so tough to pay attention to. And it shouldn't be because there's all of this batshit insane stuff happening the entire time.
Yes.
There's no moment where something that's totally insane is not happening on screen.
Yes.
But I just couldn't. It's just like this. There's like in one ear, out the other. In one eye, out the other eye. I couldn't grasp onto really.
Do you feel like it's because they don't settle on anything long enough to give you a chance to absorb it? Or just that it's that bad?
I guess, now that you mention it, that actually makes sense. Like, I think that if it had been paced a little slower.
Yes.
And they'd taken some time to... I don't know about explain because they explain a lot. It's all exposition, but
you do somehow know what's like you said. There's just a bunch of exposition, but it's like for how foreign everything is, you kind of are on board with like when her ship is broken, why the revolution, them needing her weapons, like all of the logistics are kind of covered.
Yeah. Like I felt totally, I was stuck in my phone a lot of this movie and I would look up and be like, oh yeah, okay, I understand. I still understand what's going on. Like, yeah, of course she just escaped from Duran Duran's crazy sex machine and she's in a dream bubble trying to convince him to not
which is like where the lady sleeps. That's the thing is like there's so many weird things happening. We didn't mention that the weird kids that kidnap her with the razor baby doll teeth are all like creepy twins for some unexplained reason.
Yeah. What's the thing she calls? Because they're all speaking in a weird gibberish language at first.
Even for them to be Italian and this to be shot in Rome, why is she constantly assuming that everyone speaks French? Like they speak a weird dialect that is clearly no real language. It's made up. And she's just bending down to tiny children going, parlez-vous français? And it's like, why do you think everyone speaks French?
Got the device. What is the device? I wish I could remember what it's like.
Something communicator that she can't get to work.
It's like the mouth thing, I think.
Well, she finally gets it to work. And I kept thinking that it would be something where she spoke into it and it would make whatever language come out. No, it just makes whoever she's around speak English, which was like a very self-centric way of making that device work that made me laugh.
Oh my God. Yeah, this movie's fucking
but I was going to say the invisible key. The invisible key makes me laugh.
Invisible key? I don't even remember this part.
The key, the way that they get into that bubble room is with an invisible key. So they're constantly grown, well-trained actors trying to pretend that they're grabbing a key or unwrapping it from around their neck. And you hear this like pling, pling, pling. They put in this like bad ADR of just a key drop. No matter who's handling it, it just always sounds like it's dropping. But like they're fighting over it at one point. It's fantastic.
I completely...
Jay, there's two invisible keys. How did you miss?
It's probably because they're invisible.
So stupid.
This movie is insane. And this is the crazy thing is like watching it I always love when a movie it's clearly like at the time a transgressive, like pushing the boundaries kind of movie. And you look back and you're like, wow, people used to get really offended by this. Like this movie.
Well, and I'm thinking like certain things they did that were definitely like the newest technology that you could do in a movie.
Mm-hmm. Yeah, like this was it received a condemned rating from the National Catholic Office for Motion Pictures, which called the film a sick, heavy-handed fantasy with nudity and graphic representations of sadism.
Whoa.
Yeah.
And there were times where I felt like they kind of pulled back. Like she's naked, but they don't show her tits nearly as much as they could.
Yeah, they don't even show her the sex scenes don't exist.
They don't. That was another thing that
yada it out.
Made me feel as terms of not knowing how to feel is like they would say something where she's just clearly this like I am like this like barely aware sex toy, but then they wouldn't show the sex scene. It would be like, okay, so they're not going full as exploitive about her body even as they could. So like, not that I wanted them to, but it was like, okay, why not? What for? Where are your lines?
Yeah, it feels like this movie didn't really know where to, like it could have pushed it a little bit farther.
Yeah. It could have been, and I don't know why this popped in my head, but it could have been like live action heavy metal.
Yeah.
Like it could have been full on.
Especially if you're going to go with if you're in the heavy metal vein where you're going to do a cartoon, not a cartoon, but a comic book based thing.
It is a comic strip. There's so many things that even now are like, yes, that is a very original way to make a person from another planet or whatever. Like there are things that, yeah, they could have maybe pushed it a little farther and everyone would have seen Barbarella.
Yeah, I think because now it's stuck being this cult movie, but it has like, it still has an influence in pop culture. It has like Ariana Grande made a music video that is influenced by Barbarella, right? Like they were going to do sequels.
Like I've seen people do photo shoots recently where they like emulated that is one thing that the part of me that loves aesthetic and fashion. Never seen anyone in a sci-fi movie change this many times. Loved it.
Oh yeah, she changed
like 8. She changes. The only thing she does more than sleep with people she just met is change. And
it's sleep with people, and then it's changing outfits, sleeping with people, making sense, and that's the order of things that happen in this movie. Yeah, this is a totally fucking bananas movie. But I have the biggest question I have for you as somebody who like love hates this movie.
Yeah.
What would you do, if anything, to like, I guess not change it. We've talked a lot about the things that we would change. Like if you were making this movie, one of the things that I found myself really, also besides the script, which I was like, the script is totally fucking insane and bad. I think that Jane Fonda's doing the best she can in this movie because Jane Fonda's a fucking consummate pro.
Yes.
And she is the only person I think who's cast correctly in this movie. Who do you have in your version of Barbarella? Like, who do you think should be? If anybody, you can run the gamut of anybody.
Ooh, okay. So I feel this is just gut reaction. I feel like Russell Crowe should have been Caveman.
Yep, he would be great. He'd be a great caveman.
And I feel like Caveman should have come back more. I thought he was going to come back at the end.
Oh yeah, I thought he was going to be a whole guy.
Yes, I thought he was going to be her guy. And then she fucked the blind angel. And I was like, okay, I guess the one thing that I do, another love-hate thing about this is that even when it started, it's like, cool. Like a female lead in charge of saving this stuff, even if she's being sexualized at every turn, like she's still in charge, learning, being the person that's kind of like running the show, getting all of these people to work together, like leading this alliance. That whole part I like. And then I feel like they just constantly take that away from her by making her say like the dumbest stuff or just be like, I like fucking better now. Like they just like take all of that away from her. But I do feel like I would probably keep, I don't know, I would like upgrade or update her
I think, Jane Fonda still fits.
Yeah, and then like girls will come. I'm trying to think who else.
We got to change. I mean, you got to get somebody different for the angel. I think the two main female roles, they're correctly cast.
I love them. Yeah, because I even love them. I love them together at the end when they're flying, and she's like, "Hey, what the fuck did you save her for?" Like,
yeah.
They have like these little snippets that it could go, even when we're saying which way it could go, it could be campy. Like it could have been funny because I thought he was going to be like, "Oh, you're right," and like drop that lady. Like I kept waiting for the movie to know what it was.
It doesn't
and that
know
also
what it is.
It never happens. But sorry, sidetracked.
I think the angel. I'm trying to think of who would be good because you get somebody, maybe
Owen
like Ryan
Wilson?
Gosling, Owen Wilson.
I feel like Owen Wilson would be better if he was allowed to be funny.
Mm-hmm.
But Ryan Gosling, I want him to be more rugged. I want him to be more rugged than Ryan Gosling.
Yeah. If the movie goes what it is, if it's funny, you go Owen Wilson. If it's campy, Owen Wilson. If it's supposed to be like sort of a sexy sci-fi.
Can Ryan Reynolds be the angel?
Yes, he can.
Okay, thank you.
Great choice. Great pick.
Because I kept thinking that it was the same guy that plays the Rocky and Rocky Horror Picture Show. The maid mute man.
Maybe?
It's
I don't know.
not.
I've actually never seen Rocky Horror Picture Show.
They just give off the similar vibe. I don't think it's the same man, but I kept thinking it was the same man because they're just both mute, beautiful, blonde men that like he doesn't speak and this guy's blind. They're very similar.
Oh.
They're probably. I bet that's some kind of tribute that I'm just not smart enough to know about already.
Maybe.
But yeah, I pick someone bet for sure. Like, I wish there was like a young blonde rock that could be the angel. You know what I mean?
Yeah. The closest we have is John Cena, and he's not young, and he doesn't have enough hair for you to know if he's blonde or not.
John Cena. Can we get Brock Lesnar to be the angel?
Let's get that guy. Yeah, let's get Brock Lesnar. We can get that guy. What's the name of that guy? Trevor Lawrence, that quarterback for Clemson, who's going to be like the #1 draft pick. He's got the flowing hair. Oh, get a Hemsworth.
That's what I was about, because people would probably, I'm garbage for not knowing this, but whoever Thor was, he could definitely be the
Hemsworth,
angel.
Yeah.
Is that who that is?
Yeah.
Perfect. Yes. Okay, him. And he seems like someone so big that you would wonder if their wings could carry their weight. Like, he's that big. I don't know why I want him to be that like manly, but I feel like.
Well, it adds to the comedy of it a little bit.
And I think it also helps that he's blind and that huge and doesn't even know like how helpful he could be. I don't know.
Right. That's also, by the way, if he's blind and has sex and gains his confidence back by having sex with Barbarella, how does he get his confidence back? He doesn't even know how hot she is.
Also, at the end, when she's like, "Why did you save her after she tried to kill you?" He says, "Angels have no memory." Then why does any of this matter to you? You could have just why are you not constantly forgetting where you are like Groundhog Day? They just say that and then the movie ends. And I'm like, what?
Yeah, it should be he should be like Dory from Finding Nemo, where
he should be
just has no memory.
Resetting, which would also be great.
Yeah, I wish this movie knew what it was, and I wish that you had been in Roger Vadim ear the whole time that he was making this movie and be like, "Yo, Roger, this is bad. Fix this. Do this better."
This is so bad and so close. Please let me help you make Barbarella better.
Well,
oh my goodness.
If people do want to watch Barbarella, they can watch it. It's on Amazon Prime. I wouldn't recommend it. But if there was a movie you'd recommend people watch instead of Barbarella, what's your pick?
Here's the thing. I'm normally really bad at this, but everything you ask, I have a really weird gut answer for. And it's Starship Troopers. Is that the one with the giant? Yes. I don't know. Yeah. Watch, like, if you were in the mood to watch this, but you were like, "That's bad," I would definitely watch this instead.
Yeah. Well, because, Starship Troopers has the satirical element and knows what it is.
There we go.
So you got that.
Maybe that's why I felt that in my heart.
Good choice. Katrina, thank you. This has been so much fun. An absolute delight. I'm so glad that you changed your mind to talk about this insane insane movie.
Me too. I'm so happy because I realized
appreciation for Jane Fonda.
Yeah, I feel like my main beef with Almost Famous was just that I get bitter for him, that I want him to have more resolution, and that I feel like they're manic pixie pedophiles and no one talks about it.
Oh, yeah.
So I feel like we had way more to talk about. I was like, that's just a personal beef. No one gives a shit about that. This was so much better.
Oh, man. Where can the listeners find you and your work if they want to see what you're up to besides hating Barbarella?
You can find me at Katrina Savad, which is SIVAD. It's just Davis backwards, but all my stuff is the same thing. And I've had a lot of stuff to put on YouTube for whatever reason lately. It used to just be highlight reels from my Zoom show Valley Girl that I do once a month, but I have an invention that I made at a show on there recently. It's so dumb. I'll show you after. It's so stupid. Okay. But yeah, there's like a bunch of stupid stuff on there. So if you want to go laugh at like little clips on there.
Cool. Go check it out. And you can find me at Diet J on Twitter and Instagram, jlightcomedy.com for show dates. Live shows now every once in a while.
Hey!
So come check those out if you live in LA. And if you like the podcast, tell a friend and subscribe and leave a review and maybe consider subscribing to Patreon. Huh? Anyway, that's it. Katrina, thanks again.
Thank you so much. This was the best.
This is the best. And this has been Blockbusting. Go see something good for a change.